But the aerobatics you're going to see is extremely accomplished and in very tight formation. We had them out at the Bahrain Air Show, which Farnborough International has just signed a deal to carry on running and helping the Bahrain Air Show. And they do a very interesting one just at twilight with lights all over the aircraft and pyrotechnics. Well, there's no point in turning on the lights now, you're not going to see it. I don't know about the pyrotechnics, but I haven't been briefed on that, so we'll just see what happens. Chance to see them doing a night show. It is fantastic. Now, coming through in mirror image. Now, if you're on the big screens, you'll see how close that is. I think looking out to the naked eye, you can see how close that is. That takes an awful lot of practice, an awful lot of trust in your mate, and it's slightly turbulent weather up there. There's decent wind blowing up there, which causes a bit of turbulence. Rolling out of mirror, line abreast, now moving back into echelon. It's the first day that we've seen them here at Farnborough. They haven't been here for the trade day. Peter Wells, Chris Burkett, back into position. Beautiful barrel. So the leader's in charge. Number 2 is just locked on a certain sight point on the lead aircraft, which changes depending on whether they're doing line abreast, mirror, etc. And the profile of that aircraft looks very much like another aircraft you can see later on, namely the Spitfire. Look at that. Moving now on to what's called the B axis in the aerobatic game. A axis left and right, B axis is where they are now. Over the top of a loop, probably check on the 45-degree down and roll. And now this is where you go boss side because you have to look left and right at the same time. We don't have their sequence up here, so I can't forecast what they're going to do, but I guess they may well be doing a synchronized stall turn. At least one's going to do nothing like a stall turn. There we go. Down on the 45, rolling to catch up. And what have we got happening on the left? Disappeared from the commentary position, so I can't see anything there. Except, well, we've got a fantastic monitor, compliments of one-box television that we can watch one of them at a time. A crossover, nicely in the centre of the display line, pulling up into the verticals, speed decreasing, quarter roll, coming up for stall turn, boot full of rudder, rotating around the centre axis of the cockpit, pointing down to the earth, gravity helping, speed increasing, pulling back out. Well, we'll just have to wait to find out. It's certainly got all the makings of it. No, look at that, wow. Little flick roll at the top. Flick at the top of a loop is called an avalanche. Or a yak smasher in the old days, because the yaks couldn't do it in the 70s. So in the aerobatic competitions, people could put in certain sequences and they put in little manoeuvres that you knew the opposition couldn't really do very well.
You were out in that neck of the woods in the 70s, weren't you, Strat?
Yes, 1976 World Aerobatic Championships in Kiev. Cold War was frigid. It was interesting, to say the least. Drove a private car for the Soviet Union and back in 76, 3 months after leaving the British Army. It's not a sensible thing to do, is it? Now following each other round, a bit like a hamster in a wheel, really. What do they feed them on? So they know what they're going to say next. Sometimes it could just be a noise. If you're pulling high G, you can't really have a talk. But they might go, now, and they know.
Really, just something is right.
Just a command, so they know. So going up, Peter will be in charge, going up for the stall turn, and he will say when to boot the rudder. Exactly the same as the arrows. Right. They know the routine, absolutely inside out, but you've got to still have that cue to get the timing absolutely spot on. Oh, look at that. a sort of heart for those of you. No, we haven't. Oh,
Wow.
oh. Well, we'll work on this one. Very tight formation. Close formation work is very tiring, and to keep it absolutely locked in, it's almost like there's steel rods between them. The station keeping is very, very good indeed.
This may seem like a ridiculous question.
It may.
Because it's coming from me,
Yeah.
so that is
It
very
might be one.
possible.
Yeah.
But when they're flying that close, I mean, there's got to be the threat of a sudden gust of wind, or...
Well, both aeroplanes are flying so close, you're in the same bit of wind.
Oh, I see. So they couldn't knock one. If it's going to knock one, it will
So
knock them both.
you've got
and
to,
therefore-
and if it's
right.
really, really violent and really, really turbulent, they will
Right.
just move a little bit further away.
Right.
So they can vary, and they will vary enough. That's down to number 2 to think, well, I'm just going to back off a little bit.
Right.
But if he's nicely locked in position, he will just stay there. So wherever number 1 goes, number 2 will go. It's like I've done formations through cloud. I'm not supposed to do that, so I won't admit that in case CA is listening. But actually, if you're locked in close enough, you can see the other aircraft you're locked into. If you lose sight of him, you want to be going the other direction.